The plot so far. The rich didn't want to donate money to the church, so the church decided Satanism sounded cool, let's do that for a bit. And that's how Miriam became the pirate you see today. Oh, sorry, alchemy really changes people. Miriam is a pirate now.
Bloodstained.
There's a lot of weapons Miriam can convert her 8-bit coin into. But since Miriam can only get one, that means 90% of the weapons suck, since she'll never use them. So it looks like we have a critical decision to make. Option 1, Miriam uses the 8-bit coin to summon the legendary shield weapon. She doesn't understand how it works, because she just punches things with it, adopting this martial art practice from Count Goofy. Option 2, a chain sword. It apparently causes bleed damage, but nothing survives long enough to test that theory. In other news, when trying to use this, Miriam lost her head. So seeing this alternate timeline, Miriam decided to take it as a bad omen. Option 3, a giant axe capable of chopping and lighting your firewood at the same time. Miriam decides this is great for camping, but probably not amazing at cutting down the most likely fireproof legions of hell. Option 4, a purple lightsaber that lets Miriam live out her dreams of being Mace Windu.
Isn't it past your bedtime?
This weapon is actually called the Encrypted Orchid, and the description is actually encrypted. If you want to know what it says, the solution is quite simple. Initially, you'll want to convert from its current hexadecimal value, with hexadecimal being a numbering system with values ranging from 0 to 15 and everything after 9 being represented by a letter, and then convert those values into their respective alphabetical characters. Computers store alphabet information in hexadecimal, so you just need to find what letters are associated with what hex values. After doing this, you'll get the extremely coherent message Oknipu, Girdlesy, Zwukji, Poopsul, Zerkvit. You may have noticed that this is still complete nonsense. We can fix this though using the power of Visioneer ciphers. This cipher was first created in 1553 and encrypts alphabets using a sequence of Caesar ciphers, ciphers that were used to encode messages back in the days of good old Caesar. It uses a keyword, in this case the word orchid, to dictate the position of an encoded word in a table of alphabetic columns and rows, with the rows referencing letters from the keyword and the columns referencing letters from the encrypted message. As it's part of the fun, I'll leave the rest up to those dedicated to the decryption arts. Don't worry, the internet already automated all the decryption hobbyists out of a hobby. If you found this all to be too much effort for using a glorified lightsaber, don't worry. Me too, so I decided to instead go with this. Option 5.
Ooh, I like it.
A sword that shoots pixie dust everywhere and turns things to stone at random. This finally lets Miriam live out her dream of achieving her true form. Magical Maiden Medusa, half-elf pirate Miriam. On top of that, it's called the God Cross. Miriam is literally smiting demons out of existence for looking at her funny using the power of the heavens. Okay, with that critical alchemical decision made, let's go ahead and equip our brand new... gold? Oh, it's Gold Cross. I thought it was God Cross. Did they patch it? Hold on, did they patch it? In the time that it took me to actually commit to this episode, they changed Gold Cross. It was God Cross, they changed it! Miriam thinks it's about time for Johannes to alchemy up some food. Crystals do not have that much nutritional value. This is why Crystal Pepsi was discontinued after it became associated with unhealthy habits and a lack of beneficial macronutrients.
Staying up late tonight?
Yes, I know it's after 11 p.m., Johannes. I don't have a problem. Alright, Johannes, point taken. I guess we'll save. The save points in this game are a comfy-looking couch, always accompanied by a less than comfy-looking six-winged grasshopper. I'm sure this is symbolic of something, but look, Miriam just came into here to save, guys. Miriam attempts to light a door on fire. She's still getting used to her door opening magic. I remember when I opened my first door. Miriam continues in the moat underneath the castle, but eventually finds water, making this a dead end as she's perfectly buoyant due to her body's deployed safety features. There's also a sea creature here with many eyes. As eyes are weak points, you know this didn't go well for the fish. There are two kinds of people in the world. Those that jump to a higher platform to meet their adversaries head on, and those who stay on the lower platform and just buy a bigger sword. Now that we've helped her avenge her husband, he died to 5 morts, and I'm really not sure how you manage that. Literally, I don't even know what a mort's attack looks like. They die before I get the chance. She now needs us to avenge her sister, her cousin, her neighbor, her doctor, and if given the chance, her cousin's uncle's sister's niece's cat. So, her cat. Right, to the castle we go then. I swear this is an abridged series. Ah, so that's how you turn on the lights. This castle is guarded by giant lions and a variation of the sun from Super Mario Bros. 3. The latter means this is basically impenetrable. And these are just the entrance guards. Miriam's not 100% sure if the lions are attacking her or just practicing somersaults. Those lions, by the way, are known as sabnoks. They are skilled with a blade, and I think it's clear to see why they bear that reputation, or with their extremely nimble raspberry hands. Pure skill. And what did Gebil store in a box on an inaccessible balcony on the second floor of his foyer? Why, wood, metal, and cotton, of course. This sounds silly until you realize that this probably belonged to the unionized contractor demons building the castle in the first place. We can rest easy knowing the demons are not suffering from hearing loss. Did anybody see a lost dog poster anywhere? I think Dark Souls wants its dog back. Ghost spirits are not immune to petrification. That said, the game doesn't really know how to petrify them, so we get this instead. Ghost dandruff. What do skeletons sound like again? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Miriam noticed a hole in the blood well, so naturally, seeing there's a deep end to this pool, she dove straight in. Was this a missed title drop opportunity? Let me fix that.
Bloodstained.
Miriam feels like there is significance to this statue of an angel skewering a live demon and filling the fountain with its blood, but what it represents either symbolically or narratively remains a mystery. We caught you red-handed, Alfred.
Why are you here?
Alfred was a character in the prequel to this game and was apparently a magical badass. Miriam's memory is foggy though, so for now, he's just the guy obsessed with
The book.
As it turns out, this whole demon invasion was just a grand way for Gebil to introduce his grand library to the world. Alfred is taken aback that no one else came here for books.
Did you come here for the book?
Book? The Liber Logaeth?
By the way, the Liber Logaeth is a real thing. It is a book written in the 16th century by a couple guys who believed that the spells contained within, as well as the Enochian language it is written in, were delivered to them by angels. Naturally, he was an alchemist too, so that helps cement the authenticity of these claims and makes them wholly believable to any casual listener. This directly connects him to the summoning ritual conducted during Miriam's long nap, too.
Make no mistake. I won't let anyone touch the book. But the book.
Not if
The book.
should touch it. Didn't what happened 10 years ago teach you anything?
And then Alfred bends time and space to disappear in a flash. It'll be difficult to carry on after all that information, but we'll find a way. A locked door that Miriam's magic hands can't open. That was a long-lived superpower, I see. Miriam struts through a hallway unopposed and eventually makes it to a garden. You know, looking at the aesthetics of this garden, it looks like more of a swamp, but I guess it's all PR and marketing for whatever tourist trap Gebil inevitably turns this thing into. They've exposed one of Miriam's weaknesses, being low to the ground. You can almost see the Venus flytrap cackling with glee. Flying pig enemies? Did they... Oh, they did! They actually have done it! Those madmen. Plume Parma is the official name, hence named since Parma
Is a city in Italy known for its prosciutto.
It is unclear if the pigs were flying before they were turned into prosciutto, but Bloodstained seems to have a theory here.
Oh hey, it's a duke from hell. Barely recognized him there. He is known as
The Barbatos, Romanian for manly. And he lives up to his name by having a thick, bushy beard and the ability to speak to animals, as any true manly man can do. So around here, his friends are mostly flying pigs and frogs.
Oh, you can diagonally slash?
Explosion.
Miriam demonstrates her awesome power by using the magic of the Plume Parma.
A shame you don't have a giant hand. Ah, the wild and crazy things one could do with a giant hand.
Anyway, Miriam needs to start making her way to find herself a giant hand. On the way, we get our guts spun up by a chainsaw sword and run directly into an Iron Maiden. She'll be fine. After all, she's part demon. The organs were just for show. Miriam enters a space that's illuminated by a sky that makes it look like it was made out of Satan's blood. Naturally, she doubles back. Not because of the ominous signs, but because this has the telltale indicators of progress.
It is also an irrelevant plot detail.
After killing a group of hardcore campers, Miriam decided to stop by town for some supplies so that she doesn't have to summon Cthulhu to solve quite all of her problems.
I'd rather keel over and die than spend another moment in a living hell like this one.
Don't say that.
Miriam encounters Susie, a depressed grandma with Alzheimer's in town who, despite living in a clearly English medieval town, is craving Brock's donuts from Pokemon.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite! Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Naturally, Miriam believes herself to be a prolific cook,
What are we transmuting this time?
and so she sets off collecting the critical donut ingredient of rice.
Is this right? Thank you.
While cooking with the power of alchemy, Miriam also decides this is a great time to pick up some NyQuil to dull her senses while fighting the horrific monstrosities of hell.
Can you blame her?
Alfred was your master, wasn't he?
Former master.
Alfred was Johannes' former alchemy father figure. Johannes respected Alfred for being a really smart fella, but then Alfred turned evil despite having previously been like a father to Miriam, which I know is a hard transition to go through, and it's understandable if she's a bit shocked and traumatized by it. With Miriam having slain the single mort harassing the village, this man feels safe going out into the ashen and still incendiary rubble of his farmhouse to replant his farms. After this kind of catastrophe, most towns would decide that crops would take too long to grow, and so they would briefly enter a state of trade with neighbor towns or establish hunting and foraging groups to weather the next winter. Not Harry, though. Rain, sleet, demon invasion, or his home actively burning to the ground are not enough to stop this dedicated agriculturalist.
Do you have anything I might be able to grow? Because if you let me do the farming, I'll give you your share of harvest, and you won't even...
Miriam donates some rice seeds to his cause in the hopes that he can help her enable Grandma's donut addiction. Don't think for a second we gave this to him to feed his family.
Hey, it looks like Miriam's familiar with blood-stained glass windows. Okay, I'll stop.
Miriam encounters a samurai in the castle. He hates
How Miriam
I know
smells.
what you are. That ghastly air about you. You reek of sorcery, Shardbinder.
his name is Zangetsu.
I am your executioner.
Prepare to die. Humanoid bosses in this game always have a couple unique traits. They don't hurt you with contact damage, and they move extremely fast. Adding to that speed, Zangetsu is a samurai, so he shadow steps, plunge strikes, horizontal slashes, throws shuriken, and shouts Japanese words like a true weeaboo before coating his sword in burning sake to make it look cooler. Fortunately, with the power of NyQuil and the power to shoot flying pigs out of Miriam's wrists, Miriam vanquishes the sticky note-adorned samurai.
Cease this at once, Zangetsu!
Ah. Here we go.
Things getting as heated as they were prompted Dominique to teach a lesson to Zangetsu about how all alchemists are bad people, sorry Johannes, and how Miriam isn't a bad person. I feel like a stronger argument might have been made that the Shardbinders were involuntarily being sacrificed to become what they are, thereby making them victims of the alchemist's greed more so than accomplices. But I guess this weak appeal to emotional connection that Dominique was attempting was enough to sway Zangetsu from the murder he was so willing to commit a mere few minutes ago. How committed to this plan of extermination was he again? Oh right, the mission was to kill Alfred! An easy mistake. Miriam, Alfred, practically the same person.
I was so happy to see that you guys actually really do seem to be enjoying this series. Thank you for sticking with it through episode 2 as well. If you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or become a patron to continue to sustain the continuation of this and other series like it in the future. Until the next episode, see you guys.